areas they've been appointed. CCM party reveals winners of parliamentary nomination votes. And in sports, Tanzania Olympics Committee and National Sports Council discussed on the National Athletics Championship expected to take place this year. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's start things off with the national news. President Dr. John Magufuli has directed leaders to work closely with other leaders in areas they've been appointed so as to serve the public diligently, especially in resolving challenges they face. President Dr. Magufuli said this today when swearing into office leaders he appointed recently at State House in Chamwino, Dodoma. The ceremony was attended by the Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Chief Secretary Ambassador John Kijazi, Regional Commissioners, Permanent Secretaries, and top leaders of defense and security forces. Here is more.
President Dr. Magufuli has sworn in Mwita Rubirua as Regional Commissioner of Njombe, Dr. Lois Nzuki as Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, Engineer Anthony Damian Sang as Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water, Dr. Saif Abdallah Shekalage as Administrative Secretary of Songwe Region. Dr. Alan Herbert Kijazi has been appointed Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources. Nadhifa Kemikamba has also been appointed as Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water, and Dr. Mwinyi Talib Haji as Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The President has also witnessed regional commissioners swear in district commissioners he appointed, whereby Geita Regional Commissioner Robert Luhumbi swore into office Fadil Mohammed Juma as District Commissioner of Geita. Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Abubakari Kunenge swore in Musa Chogero as District Commissioner of Ilala, with Anthony Mataka, the Regional Commissioner of Simiyu, swearing in Aswege Enoch Kaminyoge as District Commissioner of Maswa, and the Regional Commissioner of Rukwa, Joachim Wangabo, swearing in Kalorias Misungwi, as well as the Regional Commissioner of Kilimanjaro, Anna Mugira, swearing in Dr. Athumani Kihamia as District Commissioner of Rombo.
Na mimi nawapongeza sana wote waliojitokeza kwenda kuomba nafasi mbalimbali.
I commend all of you who have come forward to apply in various positions through Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM party. Opinion votes will be cast today and tomorrow. It is my hope that leaders who will be in charge of the exercise will do so with transparency so that everyone deserving gets his right. And I wish that once the votes have been cast, then the counting will take place in the open, so that transparency should help further unite our party.
And preliminary results in the CCM nomination votes have been released in some parts of the country, and here are some of them.
Isimani constituency, William Lukuvi has received 413 votes, followed by Sebastian Kiyoyo with 16 votes. In Mafinga urban constituency, Kosato Chumi received 135 votes, followed by Dr. Basil Tweve with 122. Mbeya urban constituency saw Dr. Tulia Axon with 843 votes, followed by Dr. Mahenge Mabula with 16 out of 924 votes. In Vunjo constituency, Kilimanjaro region, Enoch Koola has received 187 votes, followed by Charles Kimei with 178 votes from 567 votes. In Siha constituency, Godwin Mollel has received 148 votes, followed by Algrey Mwanri, who received 147 votes. In Moshi Urban, Ibrahim Shayo has received 140 votes, followed by Priscus Terimo with 137 votes. In Makambako constituency in Njombe region, Deo Sanga has received 421 votes, followed by Robert Msibwa with 29 votes, and in Lupembe constituency, Edwin Swale has received 138 votes, followed by Musa Mgata with 91 votes. In Dar es Salaam's Kinondoni constituency, Abbas Tarimba has received 171 votes, with former MP Abdallah Mtulia only receiving 11 out of 404 votes. In Ilala district, Musa Azan Zungu has received 148 votes, followed by Sophia Mjema with 103 votes. And in Kigamboni constituency, Faustine Ndugulile has received 190 nomination votes, followed by Paul Makonda, who received 122 votes. In Songwe region's Wawa constituency, Jafet Hasunga has received 552 votes, followed by Eric Minga, 129 votes. Morogoro Abanso Abdulaziz Abud received 524 votes, followed by Melchiori Mansit with 17 votes. In Mwanza region, Ilemela district, Dr. Angelina Mabula received 502, followed by Israel Mtambalike, who received 112 votes. In Mtwara region's Mtwara urban constituency, Hawa Garcia has received 440 votes, followed by Selemani Mwamba with 161 votes. In Arusha region, Arumeru West constituency, Noel Emmanuel Severe has received 113 votes, followed by Joseph Lukmei with 66 votes, and in Arumeru East, Dr. John Palangio received 536 votes, and Dr. Ganieli Palangio 63 votes.
And over 1,200 CCM councillors in Handeni Rural District attended the meeting to vote for the nominee who will vie for a parliamentary seat under the party banner in the coming general elections in October.
Handeni vijijini kuna wagombea 50 waliojitokeza. Kati ya hawa 50 wanne wanawake. Jimbo la Handeni vijijini lenye matawi 210 pamoja na kata 21 kuna wajumbe 1297 kutoka kwenye matawi na kata. Wajumbe wote wamehudhuria kikao hiki na wote tayari wanawasikiliza wagombea ili waanze kupiga kura.
43 hired voters in Mbinga district, Ruvuma region are being detained by the police on allegations of voting in the CCM nomination meeting in Mbinga Rural, as they are not councillors or members of the meeting.
Everything has gone well. We were well prepared so that the winner.
The President of Zanzibar, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, and presidential candidate for Chama cha Mapinduzi Party, Dr. Hussein Mwinyi, are among party members who took part in the nomination votes to select parliamentary representatives, with preliminary results seeing some ministers and leaders fall while others win by large margins.
Kupata nafasi ya kuja hapa kwenye jimbo langu na mimi kupiga kura yangu kwa ajili ya mbunge na mwakilishi.
The process has gone well. A lot of people have come forward, so we are grateful that a lot of people are now motivated to hold various positions and have come and have cast my vote. I'm grateful that we have a lot of good aspirants, so we shall have a lot of good leaders this time round.
And 3 people have died and 5 others have been injured at Bayolwa village, Idetemia Ward, Misungwi district in Mwanza region after a bus from Isamilo Express with registration number TG96DFX traveling from Mwanza region heading to Kagera region collided with a small cargo vehicle with plate numbers T168BVJ.
The driver left his lane and moved on to the opposite lane, whereby a lorry was coming from the opposite direction. The driver lost control, causing a head-on collision. 5 people have died, including the 2 drivers.
Two
casualties were critical. Both have been referred to Bugando Hospital. The 3 have received treatment and have been discharged.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Simon Siros, directed the public, politicians, as well as defense and security organs to fulfill their responsibilities as the country prepares for the general elections by following laws, regulations and procedures.
Wananchi watimize wajibu wao wakati wa uchaguzi. Sheria, kanuni, taratibu zimeelezwa.
Citizens must fulfill their responsibility during the election. The law is clear and the Electoral Commission must observe the law, but law enforcement authority must do the same. Our duty as law enforcement authority is to make sure that justice is served during the election. That is why it is important to meet so that we discuss on what police commanders must do to ensure that the election is free and fair.
The German ambassador to Tanzania, Regine Hess, has urged countries of the East African community to work together in reviving economic sectors affected by coronavirus, including tourism. The German ambassador said this when opening a special training on prevention against the coronavirus at Kilimanjaro International Airport, Kia.
Have to work together with all the neighboring countries.
Ili kuweza kuwa na tija, mnahitaji kuunganisha nguvu pamoja.
Like the East African community, I wanted to experience myself how does COVID look in Tanzania. We were told the case is going down, this place is safe. So people in Europe are not encouraged to come this way, and people from Tanzania traveling to Europe will put in quarantine.
So my message to all tourists in East Africa is actually karibu sana. Our region is safe and it is even safer.
The lockdowns is copy and paste from the Western world. And I think it does not go well with regions. The Tanzanian numbers are very, very low.
Over 400 employees of Cuba Limited in Yamongo, Tarima District, Mara region, involved in transportation of mineral rocks from North Mara and Buzwagi mines owned by Barrick Company, have held protests demanding their dues after their contracts with Cuba Limited were halted by Barrick.
This is affecting us so much. I have nothing to feed my family. We ask Honorable President to hear our cry.
And that is all for the national news. International news follows next.
Has been dissolved.
In international news, President Uhuru Kenyatta has called for an extraordinary summit to assess the country's preparedness for COVID-19. The meeting will also review containment measures in the wake of surging coronavirus cases in the country.
We have 418 people who have tested positive for the disease after testing a sample of 2,474 over the past 24 hours. This now brings to 13,771 our number of confirmed cases in the country, and the number of cumulative tests that we have performed so far stand at 246,361. These 418 confirmed cases, 408 of them are Kenyans, while 10 are foreigners.
That I, number one, take responsibility for having flouted the COVID rules on Friday. I was outside my home after 9, and that is against the rules. It is regrettable, but all of us make mistakes. Thereafter, of course, I was brought here by a huge contingent of officers, and I was not charged or booked. They asked me to leave, and I left.
And 2 people were killed in eastern Beni, the Democratic Republic of Congo, in an attack alleged to have been carried out by fighters from the ADF rebel group.
We've suffered for 6 years. If they don't care for the life of the people, then let them carry on with the killings.
Ivory Coast's governing party says it has asked President Alassane Ouattara to seek a 3rd term in the country's upcoming elections following the death of his chosen successor earlier this month. Ouattara said he would step down and named his close ally, Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly, as the RHDP party's candidate for the October 31st ballot. News. We'll be back with business news after this short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back. The government has called on local investors to look for opportunities in the mining sector as the government is creating a conducive environment which will enable them to provide services in mines that are currently being given by foreign investors.
Serikali imefanya mageuzi makubwa katika sheria.
The government has carried out a big revolution in laws governing our mineral sector, so every citizen benefits.
And the government has called on local investors to look for opportunities in the mining sector as the government is creating a conducive environment which will enable them to provide services in mines that are currently being provided by foreign investors. And sorry, we have quite a bit of a technical difficulty. We'll move on to our next story. Tanzania Institute of Accountancy, TIA, has said researchers down by the institute have enabled all district councils in the country to come up with new sources of revenue and control loss of government funds.
Our institute has a big contribution in growing our economy. As you all know that this is our focus now, and in industrial growth.
That is all for business news. Sports news is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose and then.
And now in sports news. Tanzania Olympics Committee and the National Sports Council have met to discuss on how to ensure the National Athletics Championships take place this year. The event has not taken place for 3 years now.
This was a meeting between the government, which is here, represented by the National Sports Council, as well as everyone else who is responsible for preparations and welcoming athletes from other regions, as well as any other activity that will enhance the success of our national athletics competition.
African Leon Football Club coach Freddie Wasombola has hinted that he might leave the club after failing to retain promotion to the Premier League.
I won't be abandoning them because the league has ended. And if a player doesn't have a contract, he will be done. And if he has more than 1 year in his contract, he will be here. And always the contract is not a Quran or a Bible. So you can sit and agree. If he gets a team with better conditions, he can leave.
And Lewis Hamilton issued a stinging rebuke to the leaders of Formula One and some of his fellow drivers after the sport's failure to deliver a coherent anti-racism message before the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here's the story.
Hamilton won the race but was highly critical of the lack of progress Formula One is making in supporting its stated commitment to tackling racism. At the opening race in Austria, there was a time set aside for the drivers to make a collective gesture. Since then, it has been decidedly ad hoc affair. In Budapest, the drivers assembled for the national anthem, and once more what followed was a shambolic and disorganized at best. Some drivers did not attend, some were late, some did not wear the End Racism t-shirts, and again, only some chose to take a knee.
Jose Mourinho praised the special impact of Harry Kane after the striker's second match-winning performance of the week brought 2 goals against Leicester and gave Tottenham a significant boost in the chase for a Europa League spot.
He had scored twice at Newcastle on Wednesday, and his latest pair came alongside a marvellous ball to Son Heung-min for the opening goal in Spurs' 3-0 win. Kane has now scored 23 goals in club football during a season that appeared to be over when he tore a hamstring at Southampton on New Year's Day. Spurs have now taken 13 points from 5 games, and the 3-1 humbling at Sheffield United on 2nd of July appears something of a watershed.
Mikel Arteta believes convincing players to join Arsenal will not be difficult, even if their impressive FA Cup semi-final win against Manchester City does not lead to European qualification. Here are more details.
Eric Aubameyang knocked out the holders. If Arsenal go on to beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final, Europa League football will be secured, and they also have an outside chance of qualifying via the league. Arteta is bullish about strengthening in the summer window, regardless of whether they qualify for Europe or not. Victory against City followed the win on Wednesday against the league champions Liverpool, and Arteta wants his team to continue the form in the season's final 2 league games, the trip to Aston Villa on Tuesday and the hosting of Watford on Sunday.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.